Hi everyone, so I have another 5 spices here. 2 that are very common, I'm pretty sure you've heard of them, and 3 that are a little less common. Okay, so the first thing that I have is salt and pepper. Everyone heard of that? No? Okay, well, I want to point out that this is not table salt. I feel that table salt is very toxic, and I don't use it. What I have in here is actually a combination of different salts. I have Celtic sea salt, I have pink Himalayan salt, and black, I don't know if this is lava salt or Himalayan salt, I forget. And these are coarse, so I can grind them fresh, love that. And I love to get the combination, so that's my favorite way to do salt. And I don't load things with salt anyway, but people do require some sodium, and it's found in fruits and vegetables, but there's a big difference between table salt and sea salt. So having a little bit of sea salt on hand can come in really handy for a number of reasons. For one thing, adding a little bit, a pinch or two, to things that you normally wouldn't want salty, like sweets, baked goods, things of that nature, actually brings out the flavors. It doesn't make it salty, it just brings out the other flavors. So that's one reason. Another thing is salt and pepper is very familiar to a lot of people, so you can certainly go vegan and just start veganizing everything you're familiar with, making vegan macaroni cheese and all of that. But if for some reason you're not doing that, if you are eating stuff that's very unfamiliar to you, salt and pepper can help, give you a sense of familiarity. Okay, another thing I want to mention about salt is that there's something that a lot of people don't realize, and that's that animal flesh, meat, animal flesh, is very salty, very, very salty, due to the urea in it. Yes, urea sounds like urine, and that's for a reason. Urea is essentially urine. It's the waste products that an animal is creating before it's passed through as urine. And so there's urea within the animal flesh that hasn't made its way into voiding out as urine, and it gets caught in the flesh that people eat. And so it's highly concentrated with urea, which is very salty, and people become rather addicted to salt. They become desensitized, their taste buds become desensitized, so anything that isn't very salty will taste bland and unflavorful, and it's not tasty, not appealing. So furthermore, there's a lot of spices and herbs and things that get added into animal flesh most of the time to make it palatable for people. So additional salt is often put in there as well. And so there's a difference between table salt and sea salt, like I'm stating. There are things to consider, whether your blood pressure is high or low, and different things like that. But just speaking to the general public, using some sea salt can be very helpful when you're transitioning into a vegan diet, or when you start eating vegan, when you are vegan fully, whether you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, or whether you're eating processed foods that are vegan as well. Adding some sea salt to not all of the things that you're eating, but adding some sea salt into your diet can help make the food taste more flavorful. Yes, so salt brings the flavors out and can be useful in baking as well. There's a difference between sea salt and table salt, like I said. So that's salt. Over here I have ground black pepper. Now, for some reason we went cheap and decided to try the pre-ground black pepper this last time, but for a long time I've been getting peppercorns and grounding them, and you can taste a big difference. I can anyway. It's so much nicer. Love the ground stuff, the fresh ground stuff. But again, pepper, very familiar for a lot of people. And so you're gonna know how to use pepper probably, but just to tell you a few things that I use pepper on, because I don't use salt and pepper on everything by any means. Sometimes adding it to a soup to spice things up. I do put a little bit of it in scrambled tofu, sometimes on potatoes, things of that nature. Alright, so now I have curry powder. Okay, curry powder is actually a combination of a bunch of different spices. So mine says, under ingredients, mine says cumin, turmeric, coriander, chili pepper, mustard, cardamom, ginger, cloves, nutmeg, red pepper, cinnamon, black pepper, and saffron. This is a very powerful, interesting combination, and it's not something that I would use on, in the same way I would use salt and pepper, throwing it on, just about anything. I got it because I wanted to try making some curries, and you need curry powder to make curry. So there are just a very large, abundant selection of vegan curries that you can make, different types of curries, and you would need curry powder for that. Beyond that, I really don't know how to use curry powder, but I think there are other things that, other recipes and things that people do use curry powder in. If you really like curry, you could probably make like a curry veggie burger. But yeah, like I said, I'm not really sure. Curry powder is pretty popular in Indian cuisine, Middle Eastern cuisine, so if you're looking at those types of recipes, you may encounter a need for curry. The next one I have is coriander, ground coriander. And I use this more frequently. I love the way it smells. I love coriander. Coriander, you can use it in a bunch of things. The thing that I use it with most often is beans. When I'm making beans, if I'm making a chili, or just beans and rice, or bean burritos, I use coriander and cumin, and some other spices depending on what I have on hand and the taste that I want. Coriander and cumin, and of course you can add other ingredients as well, but for me, I find them to give sort of a Mexican food taste. So I have used it to make dips to taste like a Mexican style dip, nachos and things like that. Vegan nachos, of course. I have put some of it in soups. Really can't think of anything else right now, but I do love coriander, and I'm sure there are lots of recipes that call for coriander. Alright, and the final spice that I brought out this time, again, is accumulation of spices really, but pumpkin pie spice. Alright, now when you buy pumpkin pie, I'm not sure about the curry, but pretty likely the curry as well. The ingredients may vary some from brand to brand. Okay, so the ingredients on this pumpkin pie spice is cinnamon, ginger, lemon peel, nutmeg, cloves, and cardamom. And I highly recommend people don't buy spices or anything if there are ingredients that they don't know the meaning of. If there's a mystery ingredient on there, beware. My advice, what I do is, go home and research it if you're that interested, or find one where you understand all of the ingredients and, they're vegan and healthy, in alignment with your goals. So Pumpkin pie spice is great if you're making something pumpkin, like a pumpkin pie, and yes, of course you can do a vegan pumpkin pie. You can do raw pumpkin pies. You can of course make your own by just combining different spices. I use it for a number of things that people would use cinnamon for. It's just a little extra flavoring for me, and I do love pumpkins, so I can name off a bunch of pumpkin dishes. You can make vegan pumpkin cookies, vegan pumpkin pie, vegan smoothies, pumpkin smoothies, all kinds of things. I made vegan pumpkin French toast, which was really good, using a little bit of pumpkin and some pumpkin pie spice, a little bit of organic soy milk, just frying it in oil in a pan. Delicious. You can make like a pumpkin butter with coconut oil instead of butter, and using these spices. And also you could do an actual pumpkin butter by using pumpkin puree. Looking up a recipe for that, doing that. But I love this. I use it in oatmeal, and like I said, a lot of ways people would just use cinnamon. Sometimes I'll just grab this instead if it's closer. Just a little extra flavor as far as I'm concerned. So, okay, that's 5 more spices for you. Please leave any comments or questions you'd like to below, and I'll do my best to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe if you intend to, and hope you well.